Demystify the brown stuff with 10 Best's quick guide to all things American whiskey. So what is whiskey anyway? Whiskey is a spirit distilled from a fermented grain mash. Barley, corn, rye, or wheat may be used, and after distillation, the spirit is often barreled in wooden casks. The word whiskey without the E typically only refers to variations produced in Scotland, Canada, and Japan. Anywhere else in the world, including the USA and Ireland, and it's written whiskey with an E. Bourbon, America's native spirit. The most popular whiskey produced in the United States is bourbon. For a spirit to legally be called bourbon, it needs to be produced in the USA, made from at least 51% corn, aged in new charred oak barrels, and bottled at no less than 80 proof. The higher corn content in bourbon makes it slightly sweeter than other whiskeys, and it has smoky notes from the charred oak. Brands to know: Maker's Mark, Wild Turkey, and Jim Beam. A tale of Tennessee whiskey. Many Tennessee whiskeys also qualify as bourbons, but not all bourbons are Tennessee whiskeys. That's because, in addition to the bourbon requirements, Tennessee whiskey must be produced in, you guessed it, Tennessee. It also gets steeped in or filtered through charcoal chips, a step called the Lincoln County process, before it goes into the barrel to age. Many drinkers can't distinguish Tennessee whiskey from bourbon, but others find the charcoal filtering yields a more mellow flavor. Brands to know: Jack Daniels, George Dickel, and Pritchard's. And what about rye? In the U.S., rye whiskeys must be made from a mash of at least 51% rye, though corn and barley are often added. Like bourbon, it must be aged in charred new oak barrels. Rye has more of a burning bite and full body than a bourbon. Brands to know: Whistle Pig, Knob Creek, and Bullet. Moonshine, aka white whiskey. If you've perused a liquor shelf lately, you've probably noticed spirits labeled as moonshine. Since moonshine was a term used to describe illegal alcohol made at home, what you're seeing in stores is in fact white whiskey. What makes it white? It gets bottled without spending time in oak. Without the oak flavors, white whiskey tastes similar to vodka. Brands to know: Buffalo Trace White Dog, Few White Dog, and Popcorn Sutton Whiskey.